expression, in his case, a genomic expression, right, that led to his condition, at some point, it creates a possible scenario where those who want to have those capabilities can. I'm just saying, it's
Terrific.
well, yes, I think so.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Well, women file away those things we don't want to remember.
Best to forget some things.
Don't mess with them too much, and we go back.
The point is, we really don't ever forget things that are
No, of course not. Everything's recorded.
No, well, the thing.
Well, we don't. We have to channel our criteria bar and navigate a clear course, clear conscience.
What's instructive is that the things we do forget, little facts, little bits of data, that are really just rationally processed, these in the neocortex. What we never forget are those which are charged with emotion because of the way the amygdala gets involved. Those things we never forget.
I had a most interesting experience in Mississippi in '94 with Universal Studios, and they wanted to do non-fictional pieces, right? Mississippi with children. Bob Moses was actually out there for the student project. Well, we brought 500 people to a room, and they used to do film scenes. And it was very interesting. At the end of one day, just about all of us working together to give every detail of a day in 1962.
Yeah, like that.
Very interesting.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now some of it was not loyal to the actual original event, but most people, virtually all of us, have no way of knowing that to be the case. Only, for example, this savant, this high-functioning savant who has no autistic symptoms. He knows. He remembers, crystal clear, everything. But that's very rare.
Yeah, that's like
Too many people
haven't
follow
seen each
each
other.
The blood crash course and study.
Two people haven't seen each other for X amount of years. They talk about that one moment that they both thought that they both lived through. Then you find out, wow, where were they?
Yeah, in fact, I was at a neuroscience lecture, and a woman from Scandinavia talking about her sister, who was brought up in South Africa, which was very young. And then, like 40 years later, the family returned for a visit. And she had forgotten the language, she had forgotten she even lived there as a very young child. They got to the area, and there was this young girl singing the song which she had learned, and she started remembering it. And as she started remembering the song, she started remembering the lyrics. As she remembered the lyrics, she remembered her early experiences. And it all came flooding back. So we don't forget.
Right.
We really don't.
We have to
We
choose.
unremember, but we don't really forget.
But when two people remember the same incident, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting phenomenon.
And yet it's like they don't see the same thing.
That's true. That's the problem with using eyewitnesses in testimony.
Yeah.
It's going to know the issue forever. Absolutely.
Could I have everybody's attention? I had Coley as a guest on my show recently because she was in Lebanon in January, and my call-ins you could just tell they couldn't put all the calls through, and I had some help there. She said she never saw people so eager to engage someone. And I was with Joe Friendly too on set, and it just sort of developed on set that we should have a teaching about media. And we're exploring different venues, but it seems to me the crux of the issue that I was discussing with Coley, where to do it in St. Mark's, or maybe find a synagogue, who would have the responsibility to go through these issues. It's an issue of deep prejudice. Can you come and be willing to change your mind? I've really had to change my mind radically quite recently on many topics. And I would just like to turn it over.
But it's not so much on living yes, but looking at all of the major issues, and we have more major issues now than I have ever been missed in terms of organizing in my lifetime. And yet we have best action in terms of being a mass action. When I look at Libya, I see the United States. I mean, I can see the issues of the oppression of labor, the oppression of women, and all of the other issues right here that's happening right now. This collapse of an economy and this deep, I don't know what I want to call it, unbelief on the part of the masses of the people. Including, I saw an article the other day on white male.
Each white man.
Yeah, each white.
Oh, no, what else?
Upper class white male. Those who formerly ran corporations and companies who are now, of course, 1,300,000 strong, probably never to be employed again in normal, certainly not back in their original professions. So, looking at that, at what seems like
That's all
a
because,
cloud of unrealism, all right, that use Libya to define where we are as a people in the world.
To me, there's
And I think we can do that, we can do it in the teaching.
there might be one essential difference, and this may be a bit cynical, but the reason we see these spontaneous behavior, group behaviors in these other countries, and not here, and this is very, perhaps cynical, but Doris Lessing once wrote Campus Archives, this great science fiction, and one of the lines of the aliens observing us said, human beings, they'll be happy with a warm rat and oily water. Well, are we a warm rat and oily water? It was this alien's comment on how human beings, even if destitute, can be very easily placated. Right? And I was at a showing of Oliver Stone's South of the Border, and I asked the group, I said, well, do you think anything like that could ever happen here? And someone said no, because they'll never let us get hungry enough. So this is something that I've been thinking about in relation to why there's such inaction here, because it's a combination of this willful ignorance. That thing will always, the hope springs eternal. Things will be better tomorrow, even though the data shows that the economy may have taken a slight dip up and it's going to crash again over the next 3-4 years max.
And a slight dip up.
Right. Yeah. The whole, and also believing believing all the stuff that gets reported, even though we know that news is, long since gone from mainstream media, all of that. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah, but I'm just,
they keep selling us these pseudo drugs and these cars, luxury cars, can't afford it, guzzlers, and it's totally archaic and ridiculous.
Go, Coley.
but to be able to talk about a teaching where we begin to get folks to come in and talk about what's happening with unions, what's happening with Libya. We first have to define Libya, because the Libya that we're seeing on corporate TV is not the Libya that is, or was, or probably will ever be. So we need to clarify where Libya is. Certainly Gaddafi, if we just want to make Libya Gaddafi, has had a very interesting career. And anybody looking at Gaddafi across the last 40 years would probably say, well, great on these things and probably not so great on some others. But if we look at the issues themselves, $800 is the minimum wage in Libya. That's unheard of in Africa. Libya actually is number 50. 800 a month, yeah. 800, did I say annually? No, 800 a month. And look, my son says a little more than that, but it's 800. And if you look at the Human Index, they are number 52 among world countries, which is no other country in Africa anywhere near them. If you look at what Libya has done for the environment, what Libya has done with the development of a clean water, freshwater river, what it's done with creating this whole vegetable
Bringing
zone.
water up north to the desert.
Yes.
Creating community farming and sharing.
Yeah, so when I was there, I was trying to figure out all these fresh vegetables.
That's what we need to hear more CSA and organic
But
community
we look at what
farming.
happened with women, what happened with youth, what happened with education, that, Gaddafi's put out an old statement recently, like he says, that Libya is the one place we have free health care, free child care, all of the cares that we worry about, including education. But we're bombing that now into extinction. I mean, that's been bombed extinction. So we need to be very clear. Do you have something you mean?
Yeah, I really like the point you are talking about Libya, because as coming from Tanzania, which we were socialists for 25 years, I would like to really, we were not anywhere in the map of the United States.
That's right.
Until 1990, because our system was so well, government, state controlled prices of anything you can buy in Tanzania much, you cannot choose a store because it was standardized. Like the price of going to a next store, you buy the next door. And then from that point, we were isolated from the rest of the world. For the same example, we talk about OAU, which was corrupted by the Westerners' power, the capitalism corrupted the OAU, which was becoming most the strongest to make Africa united. That was corrupted by European, which adopted European Union before it was even born. OAU was very strong. And they took the same memorandum that OAU was using in Africa and Tanzania, in Africa in general, and used exactly the same memorandum in Europe to create a EU. Therefore, those weak leaders who were weak in Africa, they were corrupted by the people who took over the ideology of OAU, and OAU was collapsed. Later, Gaddafi, he was the only person as a president of Africa that was so left-wing by that time. He came up with a proposal saying, you know what? We are all Africans. We have much resources we can do to make our continent become even stronger. So let us form something called AU, African Union, after OAU was collapsed. So Gaddafi, pretty much all the Westerners, the time island Gaddafi, why Gaddafi was proposing AU. And they realized that if Gaddafi will be followed by many African countries, because of what resources he has, and exactly what he was doing for his own people, then Africa is going to come together again. So they started trying to dig down on Gaddafi, finding out how we can make Gaddafi become destructive to the rest of the world, especially for African leaders, so that he will be isolated, that no one really welcomes his ideology. Although they voted, just, like most of what happened in Africa, they voted to become him as the chairman of OAU.
African Union.
Yeah, but at the same time, they betrayed him just because of the propaganda came from the West.
Yeah.
And today...
But they didn't betray him on the NATO issue and on the UN issue. Every African state stood with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Said, do not interfere, the AU will take care of business.
That's right. So, and now today, he's singled out as the only evil or a person with a bad seed in Africa. But some leaders in Africa, they see differently, the way you just came up, that how would we turn the country that was going so well, in fact even influencing other countries in Africa, to become the most very unlivable right now. So this is, which I don't like how politics plays here, but I just wanted to share that.
He shared because he underwrote the satellite system that you could even pick up radio and television out in the rural areas, 300 million strong. After it was discovered that the West was charging $500 annually.
That's right.
For this to be able to use this telecommunication system. When you had $400 million, you could buy the satellite. So we underwrote $300 million of that, and of course pushed forward to set up the African banks. So now we have the African Bank, and now we're talking about the original, connecting some of those original systems that were set up with European backing, the ECOWAS and East Africa Corps. Yeah, you know about East Africa Corps. So, I mean, we need to look at those things because he was moving toward a United States of Africa proposed by Nkrumah, which means there would be collapsing of all of those damn presidents and controllers and whoever the hell is. So that Africa would be able to begin to decolonize.
Yes,
We're talking about decolonization.
Very true. Because the same as we could give an example how U.S. with the former president of Congo by that time was Zaire.
Yes.
Anywhere bombs drop is terrible.
Yeah,
we don't want war, it's over. We have communication, we understand, we want to live in peace and intelligence.
Yeah, but
Speak each
yeah,
other's
you
language.
cut him off. Let's see what he said.
Yeah, I was talking about Mobutu Sese Seko. By that time, he was the president of Zaire, who was an individualist that was very much supported by the United States.
15,000 a day for killing in Cuba.
Exactly.
Up until Watergate.
That's right.
What a nice salary.
Yeah, and the president like Jimmy Carter would come and shake his hand and so on. But at the same time, he was the most brutalized against his own people. But today, when they are trying to achieve democracy, the U.S. does not even recognize that. And that's why I really...
No, but you can't be a real visionary and want to state terrorism at the same time. I mean, if you want to be credible, so you really want to be credible, you want to make an impression in the world, and you don't sponsor state terrorism at the same time blowing up airplanes. So, I mean,
Well, we don't know that he blew up that airplane. The word is that that's blackmail.
There's a lot to be said about that
There's a
also.
stupid war going on.
So, but you know, I just think we need to teach in Libya. We need to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the president of Uganda, who certainly had qualms with Gaddafi, because Gaddafi backed Idi Amin. But he has one of the most powerful positive things. He does both. He lays out the things he didn't like historically, and then he makes a very powerful statement on why we must not let Libya go down while Gaddafi was there. So I think we need to look at that, because I'm saying this man has a complex life. He's very complex. To look at. So we need to teach him. So how many people, I'm hoping to get folks to teach him.
They're all outside.
Go outside and go to teaching. Is that what happens? I want to thank the young man for the wonderful presentation.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Wait. What's that? Wait.
There you go.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, he's
Can you make it up?
bit about the banjo.
Yeah, that was
It comes from
What
Tanzania.
happened to the traditional English one? You said you had to. Well, yes, that I started with my language first.
No, I love it.
Always.
It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
But I'll translate. The song is about Amani. Amani Duniani. Amani means peace in the world. Dunia means the world. So I was singing Amani, Amani Duniani, peace in the world, peace in the world. And Pendo is love. That was the Swahili song.
Only Moses.
Tanzania, that's my national language. Swahili is my national language. So we were talking about wars and all these kids around the world struggling and suffering.
Oh, I think
women.
it's shut down.
No, it shouldn't.
I have a song. This is
You
a song
stream, you think you stream will let you go
in
forever?
English. It's called Innocent Children.
Do you like Ustream?
Well, I don't know.
So it's
Let
live
me
stream.
try and get it going.
Yeah.
Somebody turned it down the shoe.
Oh,
Innocent children. Crying every day. Innocent children. In rain, suffering. Sudan, Somalia, Burundi, wonderful. Oh no no, oh 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 oh.
All we have on the tape. It'll be on YouTube by tomorrow.
Crying every day. Children crying. Don't stop. Don't stop. Egypt, Tunisia, Sudan, Somalia, Israel. Every day. Oh, 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 slow down, I'm going down, oh, I regret, even I suffering every day. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 this world, it's the whoever human race, I war, oh, killing, oh, 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 oh.
Are you watching? Are you seeing him? Okay. Yes, apparently it is. No, it says stop. That means it is recorded. It was, no, I think it may have because I had to come back in again. Yeah. Well, I think we may have lost it. Yeah, I think so. Because I don't know. Why they didn't tell me it was going to be I don't know if there's anywhere I could go to try and find out that old one if I can still save it. Is there anywhere I can go where I can see if it's there? Yeah. All right. Cheers. Cheers. Applause. Let's hear it. Talk a little. Can you talk a little bit about? Can you talk a little about the history of the banjo?
Yeah, I'd like to share the history of the banjo. I'm a fourth generation banjo player from Tanzania. My name is Iso.
No, I'm on the line.
My name is Iso Kwele. I'm from the tribe called Wandali tribe, which is part of the Bantu ethnic group from Africa.
No, we can see it all right. It's
And
all right.
consists about 68% of the people.
We haven't got any more.
Are the Bantu.
No,
and the rest
well,
of
it's
the
all right.
Other tribes.
That's a minor
Nomadic.
thing. It'll be better than it looks on that computer. It looks better. That
The
computer is not
banjo,
very good.
As far as I know, that
Well, I'm not
was
sure with him. He's talking.
was misrepresented, especially in the rest of the world.
No,
Because, by that time when it was
I
introduced,
don't know. The lights are all
especially in
on.
Northern America,
It'll have to be what it is.
was brought by the slaves.
Well,
The beginning of
I don't
the
know. He'd
16th
have to move
century.
it back into the light from the top or something.
Was part of the
What I'm
most
wondering,
important instrument for
Well, I know, but
people
they
who were in
look bad on
segregation
that
camp.
television,
whether they were,
not on the good television.
Black
They look
people,
good.
white people,
It's
Asians, Caucasians. But
Well,
it was the only
he's in
instrument
the middle
that
of talking. Steve,
was
you find
finding these
anything in
people were
terms of
having
the other
hardship
stuff
at
to
that
talk
time.
that's on the
those
side
segregation
somewhere?
camps. But the settlers, the owner of the farms.
Isa, one thing, can you move the chair back a little bit? No, a little more, little more, little more, little more. Okay, yeah.
The settlers.
It saved it.
owned-
Okay, that's good, okay.
Who owned the
The
farms,
old one.
especially in the
And it's
southern.
saved, and it's saved. Margaret, would you stop with the light?
Okay, especially in the southern. Sorry, I'm getting listening to.
Yeah, I know, I wish you'd just.
That's right. So, especially in the south where
Okay.
was
Stephen,
not
I'm gonna hang
only
up now, okay?
the African people.
And then when it comes to the end of the night, there's still
the
people
class
hanging
of
here.
the people that were not really.
And we're
fortunate
streaming
to
new,
have
and you're seeing
able
it
to
in
own the
Virginia.
land. They
So
were
it's going to
segregated.
Virginia, it's great.
And that's what most people, they misunderstand of slavery, that maybe
Okay,
it
that's
was only
good,
for the
yeah, okay.
people of the color. This was not only for the people of color, although the majority were people of the color. But there were also people who were not able to own land, therefore they have to work in certain ways, in certain wages, which were
Well, I don't
different
know.
also
It's
based on
the
their skills
youth
and
and,
talents.
there it is.
But at the end of the evening,
Yeah, okay.
they sit
Okay, I'm
down
gonna hang
under
up,
the
okay?
trees and play banjo. At that time, the banjo they used to play was the 4-string banjo,
Well-
the one we played here. And it's believed
I know,
that
Maggie
the
had
tuning
moved
I'm
it.
using even today is the
I
same
know.
tuning were used by
All
ancestors about 400 years ago.
Okay, I'll try to
It
hang
never
up.
changed.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up now.
Until the end
We'll
of
catch up with you tomorrow.
17th
Thanks,
century.
man. Enjoy the banjo. Enjoy the banjo. All right.
17th century when the banjo were
Eso, they want you to move forward a little bit now.
Oh.
Come back where you were. The lighting engineers on the other. Okay, good. Okay, there. Now just boil.
All right, okay. So, so then in end of the 17th century, there was adoption of the 5th-string banjo from the 4th-string. And most people, they really wrote about the 5-string banjo history more because it was more
to relate themselves to the 17th century up to the 18th century. They related to the banjo because it was a fifth string banjo. By that time, they
But we're
went
talking about the South, you said South.
the South, yeah.
In the
But
US or South?
in the US. In the US, yes. They were the most, people were very influenced to the banjo by that time, you know, beginning of the 16th century and end of end of the 17th and 18th. And even today, if you go to the New Orleans, Louisiana, Alabama, and so on, you may find a few people who still have the four-string banjo playing there.
16th Street guitar.
Yeah, and now the four-string banjo, they still have playing the four-string the same as the one I'm playing now. But the most popular banjo now is the five-string with the one-headed drum. That was adapted from the four-string. And then that went the time that most of the history of the banjo was written. Most of books, because there were a lot of Westerners who became interested in the instrument and started writing, Appalachian banjo players, hillbillies, and all the crow hammers. Yeah, the five-string. But still, in the low-key, people with the, I mean, say low-key because the people who were not really influenced or be able to either have more instrumentation played together, they kept the banjo. Those are the people in the South, like Louisiana and so on. But
We call it the old banjo.
old banjo, yes.
So whichever one.
Whichever, the banjo is the banjo.
The banjo always kept people together.
Exactly, very true. And I believe that because I witnessed myself when I was growing up, because I didn't know that the banjo was part of this culture in America until I came in 2003. But the only thing I found was that was not really presented people to know exactly how this instrument was introduced. And some of the books acknowledge that banjo was only an instrument invented in America, Northern America. And that's what the book says. But when you go deeply, then you find out that no, the banjo was already still played in African villages before even slavery existed. And not only in West Africa, where mostly books are really referring to that part of the West African tradition, but it's an instrument of the Bantu ethnic group, which is over 68% of Africa. I'm from far east, where nowhere close that anyone was enslaved, you know, in America from the west, from the east where I'm from. Yeah, but what I
Not a
found,
large number, but
not large number, we
all
do.
of my people used to go to my mother. That's what you.
That's very true, especially when the human migration from, especially in Africa, which was the most oldest human migration from west to east, the Congos, where the Bantu, in fact, that where most of the people, they found their roots of the Bantu started to spread around Africa. And then most East Africa, we were very stable in Arab world. Even today, if you go to Saudi Arabia or you go to Qatar and so on, you find Arabic dark skin mostly came from East African Central as well, and those are part of the Bantu.
But there's something called the oud.
The oud, yes.
Is that related or?
Yes, it is. Oud, in fact, it's a very one of the a very identical tribe. If you consider of trying to find the roots of the Bantu and so on, how they integrated and became one tribe, although people had different dialects because of how they migrated, the way they adapted and integrated in mixing of marriage and so on, they kept changing the dialects. But if you find the most common, and people I always tell, if you want to identify how to identify the Bantu, to identify a person, a group of Bantu and a Nilotic group, the Pagwaris, like Maasai people or the Zulu, the simple how to identify them is to ask them how they call their mother. For the Bantu, mostly, which is very universal way of calling our mother, we start with M. Mama. Mama is symbolism of the Bantu, because Bantu spells M-B-A-T-U, which refers to Watu, which means people. You see, Desmond Tutu always use Ubuntu. Ubuntu is us as people. And Bantu, it was the same meaning of saying the people. There were no definition of whether your color or where you're from, but it was a definition of the old term of meaning we are the people. So Ubuntu, Bantu, in my tribe, in the Dari tribe, called Bantu, which is also started with M. And then if anyone you identify, say, calling their mother Mayo, Mai, Maya, are the Bantu ethnic group. And probably that's why even the Westerners, they are calling their mother's mother Mom, which is pretty much coming from the same ethnicity.
It also comes because it's easier to say mom when you're very young.
Very true.
Mom.
But the same thing, if you find out for the Maasai people, there is no that even a child, when they are just born, they cannot even start with M, because they call their mother Yeyo. So you see the difference. So it's not only the matter of being, yeah, exactly, like yeah. So they say Yeyo, Yai. Their tribes call their mother Yai, which completely different from the Bantu. So,
but the thing about the music, which is so fascinating, and I'm so glad you got to mention.
yes,
Because when Africans were being brought into the West, these prisoners of war,
that's right.
to be forced into this enslavement system, they divided them up. If you pick up a group of people, let's say if I pick up a group of people and they were evil, I would not leave them together. We'd separate them out. By the time they got to Spain, they'd be all separated out. By the time they got to the island, we separate them again to make sure. The assumption was that we had the same language groups together.
That's right.
Because they had noticed in their studies across those couple of years that they studied Africa, that you could be given next door to a group and you didn't speak the same language.
That's right.
But they didn't understand that for African words is something very, very different. Words are spirits.
That's right.
And so when you got in the South and up north, like you didn't go to Albany, New York, and look at the slaves of that sea. But it was very fascinating that they didn't understand music is out there.
No.
And that the drum is the call. We have the drum call.
That's right.
So the Africans would organize with the drum call,
That's right.
the banjo,
Yes.
the guitar,
That's right.
they would make these tambourine sounds.
Marimba.
Yeah, what do they call it? Yeah, these sounds. So, but it was they all had meaning, because it wasn't just, you didn't play music just so somebody could get out your butt.
No.
African music is another whole, it's social.
Communication.
Yeah, it's social communication. It's another whole story. So you saw these revolts happening, and you didn't know they were saying, burn the houses, burn the houses, burn the houses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
It is.
We seek tomorrow, we seek tomorrow, we seek tomorrow, so you got magic out.
Wow.
And so by the mid-1800s, by 1820s, 1830s, they outlawed every drum in this country. You could not play a drum.
It is
After
very
the Nat Turner insurrection,
That's right.
it was absolute death to play a drum.
Yes.
Because, you know, the drums, the trumpet drums,
Because
they
it was
were
a
across-
all
they're
means
over
of
50 miles.
communication.
Yeah, they were over 50 miles. So you send them
Even
messages
today.
across 50 miles. So that you could organize large bodies of people based on the music.
Very
So
true.
Baldwin said it was the music, the music. Because the music was the single element that allowed us to come together as one,
That's
even though we did not speak
The same
verbally
language,
the same
yes,
language.
Very true, very, very true. Even today, in my village, in fact, the only communication we pass on if we have a message in a village, less than 100 people, we use drums. Each drum can be drummed to pass a message exactly to tell the people to understand what's happening in our village. Let's say there is someone, a little child just died, like a newborn. There is a way to drum. Yeah, there is a way to drum to mention that the person who has passed away is a newborn child that was not even linked to this earth. and there is a way to pass it drums that a child or a teenager who have died were not even engaged or married or planning to marry. So the group of people comes to such kind of events, they come with a very prepared, knowing what they should come and how the condolences will be presented.
Yes, and what to wear.
Yeah, exactly, what to wear. And secondly, if an elderly who was a leader within the village or an old person, we consider all of elders are leaders in our village, especially unless they are appointed, they are different way of informing the community through drums. You can inform if there was a part of the chieftain's tribe leader that this man is well respected. What time the drum will be take place? That before even no one goes to hold his axe or going to the farm, because people wake up early in the morning around 5 o'clock in the morning. Therefore, if the drum starts that early, means no one is permitted to go to work, because the person who just passed away is an elderly person that everyone should go to respect and say goodbye. If the child, then the son has to raise. The son will rise up. It's a little child. The son, they will wait until the son rises up. And everyone will tell that it's drum. It's just to pass a message that this child had died. It had nothing to do with any family ties that people might even identify the child, but they are just letting people to know that there's some people who have lost a loved one, so people can have the work, go and see them. But there is no importance of people to go to work. So those are still in effect in my village. It is a good village in Tanzania.
And you know
I know all of those languages. I grew up with that, and I'm proud to be part of that because today the banjo I play here now in the United States somehow maybe only 1% you might find in Africa still play, because no one is still most of the elders who kept these old instruments, they are no longer living. And they have passed. They were not able to pass from the new generation to the new generation. They have right now.
Jerry, I'm going to join you.
One important to talk about that music, and that the drum was the single instrument that cemented
Yes.
banjo cemented the drum gave the message, and banjo, yes, cemented.
You know?
So you use that banjo playing that gently, you do.
I was wondering when you explained whether your knowledge of the drum language has informed the rhythms you choose on the banjo.
Yes. In fact, my rhythm, I can play a rhythm based on environment, based on the also the attitude of the people around me. I can be, let's say I'm just saying right here I was performing, but if I'm in an environment where I found people very overwhelmed with the situation, how shall I make them to listen or come down, even try to come closer? So this is the same message we had back in Africa. Although here, there are very few people who can try to come and understand what it's really I'm trying to implement as when I'm playing. So I usually go to like units where I play. And there are few people who come and sit down. And then when they sit down, I will really try to communicate with them through what I'm doing. And then from that point, I'll see some of the clouds comes and go, but those people are not leaving. At the end, they'll come to express exactly how they communicated with me. They will try to tell me their stories, and a few, there won't be many of them, but a few of them will start saying, you know, when you play this is what happened maybe about 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I was this place. They try to tell me their stories. And that's how it was back in my village. I would go one of the villages where I've never been. Someone plays the banjo. He'll directly connect me with either my family or someone I've never seen for 10 years. And then when they are done, I was like, oh my God, let me tell the people exactly how I felt when they played this song or when they played this keyboard. So that's where you're right. The same with the drums. The same.
And I just have one question about Kali. I'm trying to think of new banners. But a new banner for the Libya concept, it starts off something like the U.S. wrecked Iraq. Is that a true statement?
Yeah.
And now we're going to do the same to Libya?
No, they're preparing to end Syria.
Huh?
They're preparing to Syria. You even took up Syria there. The discussion is next Syria.
Oh, so in other words, we're avoiding Libya?
Oh, no, they're planning to take out all of them. They had asked them to form the Mediterranean group, Gaddafi.
Yeah, I've been paying attention, in fact, like we should mention earlier, because now Iraq will never be the same. People does mistakes, as leaders, but if we try to judge them, put them in a context of the majority to hate them without knowing their background and how their country are, because no one knew if Iraq would be suffering.
Well, Iraq had played America's game, and it was just like Mahmoud.
Yeah, exactly.
At the moment they tried to play a new game, or the brother out of Panama tried to play a new game, he said, no, you out of here. This is not a game.
We do not tolerate any independence
That's right.
from the United States.
Yeah. Now, listen, like you see Chavez, they try to plant bad seed about Chavez, about his people. But look now, how many people of Chavez, how many people they are agreeing with Chavez over what he did.
He does seem to be...
Yeah, but the question is for how long?
Yeah, and you see, that's very, very...
The problem with Africa right now, the problem with West Asia right now, is that they all stand by and watch somebody beat up on the other guy.
Yeah, because that's why. They buy out.
Yeah.
It has been happening a lot of times that they buy. I'm so grateful that I'm from Tanzania, where somehow we don't adapt things quickly. Although our leaders, they try to do...
You think it's because of the cooperative system? You're the kind of long
Yeah, I think we are socialists. We are still in a social democracy. I call social democracy. Tanzanians still practice socialism, and rather.
But African socialism as opposed to Western socialism, we need to go together. That's not Marxism.
No.
That is traditional African.
Yeah, it is. It is a traditional.
Communalism in the old days.
Yeah, exactly. It is a traditional mandate, traditional ideology that was played by our leaders, like chiefs. What they used to say, you know what? Don't hate another unless they bring evil in you. You should not hate. We have enough here, we can share. Don't try to bring or fight the next tribe unless they get something that will encourage our society. So we were not fighting the same time like in Tanzania until Idi Amin, we throw him out from the power. The king of
Well, that was a while though, when you had the three working together pretty closely.
Yeah.
Kenyatta, Amin, and
Uganda.
Yeah.
Wait, it's
Put together, but then at some point,
They corrupted.
well, actually, Kenyatta's no longer on the scene, but that's the other two, but they were all ego heads.
Yeah.
One of them was an intellectual.
Yeah.
One of them was total ego. That was
Yeah.
Jomo, Vigo.
Yeah.
And then there was Idi Amin, who was
Idi
the
Amin.
new
Yeah.
boy on the block
Yeah.
and trying to get
And,
this
but
place.
by then was Idi Amin, before Idi Amin was
I want to say Obote.
Obote, yeah.
I wanted to ask more about...
And it is a great system. There were days that used to form the East Africa.
Oh, that was...
Railroads, I mean, the things that they were doing, but the problem with Tanzania, with everybody, was the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank came in with all of these fine offers, and next thing they do, they were
The same thing
slaves.
they did for the OAU. East Africa was exactly the same, how corrupted by that time. It was going to be a very strong. But the British now, they knew that they were losing influence in Kenya. So they said, okay, you know what? Any country that agreed to get funded with IMF, and then that's when they introduced FAO,
Yeah.
the farming FAO. That's when all this corruption started. Yeah, FAO was a corporation introduced to Africa without people understanding.
How do you spell it?
FAO, Farming Association of Farming something. Yeah, farmers.
Agricultural organization or something.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the thing is that they kill the leaders first. You gotta remember, they kill the leadership. They kill the leadership. And then, Nyerere stood for a long
Yeah.
time. But they kill the leadership, they assassinate the character of the leadership.
Yeah.
And so the meaning is lost.
There is still some of his speech people that don't want to listen about it. Because he said,
I still have one of his books and I always
he said, when I'm gone, these are what things will happen. He said, when I'm gone, this is things will happen. Tanzania will be solved. It's true.
Yeah, I thought they should have worked out some of these, I mean, I think it was a Democratic era.
Tanzania will be solved, and the people who buy Tanzania are the same people who kick them out from the beginning. But they will come with a different philosophy and ideology that will be so lucrative to your people. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And you accept it, but you remember. Which is true. Now we're seeing that. There are a lot of banks came to use the get loan from the
So it's over forever. I'm gonna have to get up and get out, but thank you
Yeah.
so much for bringing the match up.
Oh,
And I will give you a ring, because I would like to see how much, well, off the record, how much do you charge for one?
these are starts from 125 to 150. It's not bad. In fact, they are made out of recycled material. One thing I didn't mention. These are coherent. The threads are coherent. And these are picked up from both sides. The ones are picked up on both sides. This drum is a Native American drum. I was given. So I just use the cowhide.
Yes.
Yeah. So I make out of recycled material.
Well, I'm from the Robert Johnson family.
Oh, that's
Robert Johnson is one of the founders. That's why I said, all my people played the 16th string steel.
That's steel, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And they also had something that looked like a tub. I can't remember what it was, but you know.
Yeah. Is an instrument.
Yeah.
How many strings?
I don't know how many strings it's on. The 16's on the guitar.
There is a kora and harp. It's very famous in West Africa. It has about 16 strings.
Oh, you come down and Robert's guitar is 16 strings.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything in my family, 16 strings, steel strings. Come here. So whatever, come here. And we're pretty much clear because Coley is my name, and that would be Coley. Coley, yeah. So that would be the Coley group.
Okay.
My dad's people though, I'm pretty sure they're all East African.
That's East Africa, yeah.
But they also use it's another form of dance, it's another form. They dance from the top of the bottom and on the bottom.
Oh, yes.
You know, they shake their tails, but they shake it, not on those knees. My brother said, get on your knees.
Your knees, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's just it's very interesting in looking at this. Look at this out, you know, anything we could use, we made music.
No. Maybe shakers, the comb, you know,
Comb,
the
brush,
anything
brush,
seeds.
spoons and forks.
Spoons and forks,
I
yeah.
used to watch when I was a little girl
Yeah.
in a place called Belzone in Mississippi. Trying to get going to the Delta, to a migrant colony.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there was a sanctified church, but we didn't know anything about sanctified.
Yes.
It was right in front of the house on the stage. And beginning on Friday evening, straight through Sunday, late Sunday afternoon, they would be playing everything. I mean, they would have scrub boards.
Yeah, Sunday.
They had scrub boards, they had broom handles, they had forks and spoons, and they would spray and spray up with hairbrushes and you know, sing cleaning the cow. I mean, they would be playing it all. They make just wonderful music. Yeah, we got that yard so I get some.
Yeah.
But I can remember.
Yeah, you have my card. You know, if
Yes.
you ever.
I got the question.
I'm gonna give you a ring.
I got the question.
Yes.
How do you defend? When I'm trying to defend Gaddafi and all these nice things, and all the wonderful things they do,
junk over there. That's what I do.
No,
We
the
have to
idea
catch
is,
the record.
the idea is, they accuse them, here's what it is. At some point, they say he killed 1,200,
1,500.
1,500. Okay, and then I say, and my only answer is, he's an artist, can't you see some logic to it?
Oh, come on.
Then
I don't know,
he was
I don't know that
palling-
he didn't do
He
that.
was palling around eating it. It's like, ooh,
Oh, yeah, so they
I mean, but now let's be real now. Idi Amin had a positive side too.
there you go, okay.
My mother would tell you that Idi Amin, my dad used to say, she said he's the last black man on earth.
he's,
He would stand up and tell you what was on his mind.
in fact, they portray him as an evil.
No.
He had his good side.
Yeah, he has a good side.
But like Gaddafi, he was also head of he was head of the OAU.
Yeah.
Chair of the OAU for a long time. But this man also stood up in ways other people couldn't stand up.
Yeah.
He defined what everybody else was unwritten. He said, this Commonwealth. Well, I want to be king.
Yeah, I
He
see
just
that.
said, well, no, you can't. But you can't be king. You're something. They said, damn the queen. Well, she can always be queen and I can't be king.
That's very true.
I was just trying to frame you better. I wasn't running.
What I do with scarf?
Okay, I'll help you find your scarf. What color was it?
Green.
That was an interesting topic. Really.
We have to understand that these people are not. That's why I thought one of the worst mistakes was for them to fight each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Tanzania was already under stress.
Oh, yeah.
It already was threatening the Karime's
yeah.
and trying to divide them off from Nyerere. Because I had Mrs. Kayembe. She was here for 3 days in the U.S. in 66.
Yeah.
And they brought her to me, a little woman who was just a woman out of Chicago, relative to Dr. King, who was also in Chicago at that hour.
Call me, in fact, we have a Tanzanian, New York community, Tanzanian community.
Oh, yeah.
We are meeting and all this.
Well, I would love to.
Yeah.
I met some wonderful people out of Uganda and Tanzania.
Oh, yes.
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 When they're not. Okay, there's no. Oh, that's interesting. .tv. I didn't know that. It works for that, the other thing. But anyway, use stream, and then I go /channel. CHANNEL. Then what? / again, right? No. Don't worry, I don't want to know now. I don't. What do I do? That's the name of the program. Dash or underscore? Dash what? Conversations Channer? With okay, well, I've done all that, so should I push enter now? Is that it? Conversations with Channer. Well, I'm trying to see if we have to scroll down or something. Yeah, it says recent videos, yeah. And there's a, yeah, right. I should click on the image, is that it, or the? Record. That's going. Yeah, now it's coming.
Came up with an idea. I want to sing it to you.
And it gives the. And it comes up with an ad. You have to go through the ad. Does that ad take away from what's being seen? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sick. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. That comes up all the time. Just at the beginning? Okay. It doesn't interrupt. Okay, there. Now I see the thing. Now there's another little ad. I don't want it too loud, Maggie's sleeping.
Where you would be?
I can hear it.
Okay. There you go. Okay. I'm going to stretch that. If I'm going to put that up closer in the room, the speaker method is going to have to be taped down.
I may be walking to it now.
Well, yeah, I'll be doing that. So, okay. So, okay, now what do you want me to do? I'm sitting where he is and, okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Okay, we're going to
Yeah.
record a few minutes.
And there'll be good light.
It's amazing what they
So I
can
think
do
we're in
now.
business, and that's the way you close out and make sure you save it at the end. Okay.
Instantiate chips into the brain, so I'm not going to introduce them. I'll just
Okay.
I'm just talking.
Well, the last one we did, I didn't do any of that save, and it was saved. I don't remember going through that step with anyone myself. I did. Okay. I don't remember. Okay. Okay. So that's to save the recording, right? Yeah. And when you get to doing the program, when you get to be doing the other thing, when you're starting at the beginning, you push those both more or less together, right? And then, okay. Okay. I think we're in business. No, nothing. It would start broadcast, start recording more or less at the same time. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then close the recording first and give it a name and save it and then do broadcast. Close that. Okay. Well, I think we're in business. Maybe I can check with you tomorrow at the time of the meeting. If usually you get a lot of people, there's confusion, bottles clanking and all that kind. It's hard to